We needed that, didn't we? It feels good to be back here again. Manchester City have just won a Premier League game. Say that again. Man City have just won a Premier League game. I know it feels strange to say that out loud, but it's true. It's been a while. It's been about a month since that happened, and I'm a very happy, very relieved boy right now. I really, really am. It wasn't the best game of football. No, it wasn't. But I'm sorry, but sometimes you need a performance like this. Sometimes you need a performance of grit, of determination, of focus. This, to me, was a victory built on composure. And what I mean by that is this was City trying to find again, after a long, hard look in the mirror, who they are. And to me, this was a better performance. Today, we kept the ball nicely. We worked it well. We took the chances when we needed to take the chances. And then we defended when we needed to defend. Of course, it could be better. Of course, it would be frustrating. It would be better, not be frustrating, if we actually, didn't concede a late goal in the first half. But that can happen at any point. Never mind when you're going through bad form. It just can be that thing that happens, But this performance to me, yeah, it was decent. And I feel relieved to sit here and say this Manchester City side after a run of games. And my friend tweeted this, and let me just find the exact quote. And he made a good point, my mate. I need to find the quote now because when you really think about what City you've been through, my friend said you've got to remember that run of games was Arsenal, Brighton, United, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Villa. That is an insanely difficult run of football. Arsenal, Brighton, United, Bournemouth, of course, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Villa. We've just played an insane 8-game run. It was hard. And now, at the end of that, we're only 4 points behind. The next bunch of fixtures are so much more friendly to us. If we could stay in touch after that, the idea was then that hopefully we could start to stretch our legs a little bit. We weren't great during that run of fixtures. No, I admit that. But to me, this was encouraging. This was encouraging. And that, to me, is what I'm thinking and hoping could be the start for a little bit of luck of a run. A run of games. If you look at City's fixtures, I'll bring them up on screen right now, what we've got coming up. Of course, we've got Palace at home, we've got Brentford at home, then Everton away. Of course, Everton doing well today, but then Sheffield United at home. You would think if City turn up, of course, we've got midweek Belgrade, where that means nothing though because we're through. You would think City would go for 12 from 12 there. Then you got Newcastle away in the new year. De Bruyne could be back by then, who knows? But then Burnley, of course, at home, Brentford, then Everton at home. They've only really, then Chelsea at home. The fixtures get very friendly, I would say, for an awful long time. And obviously, Huddersfield in the FA Cup. It looks a lot. The rain clouds are clearing a tiny bit, I would say. I don't think we were brilliant. But I thought we were composed. I thought City went back to basics a bit today. And they did, by the way. They really did. And I'll bring up the formation right now on screen of how it was. We sort of played a lot more traditional today. This was just a 4-2-3-1, man. This was old school. This was a 4-2-3-1 in every sense of the word. This is how we played, basically. It was like this. Vardy, Walker, Foden, Silva. It was sort of like that. Not Silva, sorry, that's Grealish. It was sort of like this, basically. And these guys around here were just floating around each other and rotating and floating around each other and rotating. And I think Silva was nominally over there and Foden was there. And it was very much down this left-hand side. Vardy was playing as an old-school left-back, overlapping and getting forward, which I really enjoyed as well. But we went sort of back to basics, to be honest. And I kind of liked it. I think it was needed today. And we just went back to a very simple formation. There was no one stepping in midfield from the defence. No Akanji doing that. Not that I mind that as a tactic if you've got the right players for it. But we went quite simple. And it worked. We kept the ball well. I thought Kovacic had a nice game, Kovacic is a much maligned player, but I thought he actually did pretty well today. He did. He had a decent game, it wasn't a classic performance by any stretch, but we kept the ball better. Kovacic and Rodri recycled it really nicely. Bernardo Silva had a really good game. Jack, of course, our wingers getting goals today. I thought Phil had a nice game through the middle as well. Alvarez a better second half. First half, nowhere near as good as it should have been. Ake, by the way, Nathan Ake I thought was really, really impressive. In a game like this, I think you need natural defenders. And I liked it today. I thought Ake was excellent. Ake's solid. He was defensively everywhere he needed to be. I don't have really any real complaints, by the way, about their goal. I think in football there's a tendency to look for errors. And you can find an error in anything, but it's usually something like giving the ball away in midfield. But I've looked at the goal again. It's just a deep cross. and it hits where the attacker is, who's 6'5". Diaz is trying to get back, but you can't be in every single spot on the pitch. It's just not possible. Adebayo, he's just taller, he's bigger, and the cross went to him. If the cross had been a yard shorter, Diaz clears it, but it was a yard further, and he went to Adebayo's head, and he put it in the back of the net. This is what happens, you know. If a guy puts a good cross in, the 6'5" guy's there, he's probably going to win the header. At that point, you just can sort of pray, you know. And he went in. It's fine. I can take conceding a goal. I can take it. I don't think he made a massive mistake. But what you want is then to do your bit. Do your bit right. If you need to concede a goal, if you've got to concede a goal, you need to score a goal. Take them. And we did. And it took a moment of brilliance. I'm sure Pep would have been saying, if you're around the area, just shoot. Just shoot. And I love that Bernardo Silva's goal came from actually just a little bit of aggression. Bernardo Silva's goal, in my opinion, came from a man just sensing the ball loose and just smacking it. Sometimes you just got to smack it. And he curled it into the bottom corner wonderfully. Instead of taking a touch looking for a pass, he just went for it. And sometimes you just got to do that, man. Sometimes you just got to take a shot. And that's what happened, you know. First time shot, bottom corner, no taking a touch and trying to curl it in or anything like that. Just, you know, taking a touch and putting it in the bottom corner. That's what needed to happen. And I'm happy and very glad that he did that. It was nice. Someone just said, like, Vardiol looks sloppy on the ball. Mate, I'd understand if you were saying that after the previous game, but I thought Vardiol was excellent today, actually. Vardiol going forward was really encouraging. A couple of really nice spins and a couple of really nice little barrages forward. I liked it. I thought he was good today at left back, so I think we watched a different game there, mate, if I'm being honest. But I don't think he's sloppy at all. I think he's also learning how Manchester City plays style. And I said this during the watch along. I think people sort of need to reframe their heads when it comes to Vardiol. Like, my view of Vardiol is people tend to look at the here and now, but when I see you sign a 21-year-old player for that much money, I don't really see him as the finished project for this product. I see him more as a project. You know, like, I think Vardiol, you'll judge his quality over the next 2, 3, 4 years. Like, Vardiol should be here for several seasons, and you know, by that point we'll be thinking, oh, he's worth every single penny. Like, Vardiol's peak at Manchester City is years away. It's a couple, 2, 3 years away at very least. So I'm not worried about Vardiol. Unless he has an absolute stinker, I'm not going to panic over Vardiol not being perfect. I just don't really see the issue with Vardiol. I think he's learning and it's all right, you know. I thought Foden had a good game today, by the way. I thought Phil, you know, I bring up the stats, and I thought Phil floating around in the number 10 role worked really hard. And it was a nice performance from him. You know, 67 touches, 86% pass accuracy there. 2 key passes. He was floating about, got a couple of shots off as well. Maybe could have scored another day. It was an industrious performance. Bernardo Silva, of course, with a big goal. Sort of everywhere as well. 66 touches, but he was sort of everywhere on the pitch, as you can see there. But that's Bernardo Silva for you, isn't he? So versatile. What was Phil's? Phil was very central, actually. He did play central. And Jack sort of hogged that left-hand side, where Bernardo sort of went all down the right. If you look at the average positions, by the way, City played very, very, very much on this side. It's very notable for me that City do not have anything on the right currently, which is interesting, man. It does make us predictable. Everything goes down our left hand side, everything right now. And I would guess if you looked back at other games, it'd probably be very similar with Doku over there as well. We need something on that right hand side. Look, I wouldn't be averse to an attacking right back like a Frimpong or something like that. You could take that number 2 and push it up to, you know, a lot further up the pitch. You know, potentially we're going to change the system one day. But you can see we become a little bit more predictable when you've got everyone sort of crowding around that left-hand side of the channels. Look, it was enough today and it did work. And I do want to see City control. But you can see there are positions that we can improve and there are ideas that we can do better. But ultimately, if you look at the story of this game, City did sort of control it reasonably well. Luton did have their little moments of territorial progression, but City were largely in control and we were good value for the 2-1 victory today. We more than deserved it. The XG says that too, 0.33 to the 1.60. Yeah, it was, I mean, their goal was a good goal, but it wasn't even a big chance either. Ball possession, 65% for City, 18 shots to their 4, 6 on target, 7 off target, of course, as well. 3 corners to their 6. It was a little bit humbling at the end, you know, to see City defending. 4 big chances to their 1, by the way. City defending late on with everyone coming on and Kanji coming on against Luton Town. But that can happen. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. And I think there's an element of like just sort of holding out. I will take that. It's been so difficult recently, like so difficult to actually sort of, you know, like kind of batten down the hatches a little bit and actually just not concede a late goal. I'm happy just to see a City side that actually can sort of get the job done to an extent, because we've not done that for an awful long time, and we did this time. We did actually just defend nicely and get the clean sheet that we needed. And that to me is a relief, because it's been a while. Not clean sheet, sorry. We just saw the job out, and we've not done that in a while, which is good, man. We actually genuinely 100% needed that. And it feels good to sit here and watch a City side get a victory after defending nicely. And it was tricky, by the way. I want to give Luton some credit. Luton are insanely hard-working. They were first to everything. They could have had a red card, by the way. They could have had a good... they could have had a man sent off. That was borderline red. I actually feel like it's one of those things where it maybe it could have been a red. I feel like a lot of people think it's a red, and I get the argument for that. I understand why the ref didn't. I think if he made more contact, I think there was even more of a jumping and more contact he would have given it. But either way, you got a little bit lucky there, I would say. It could have been a red card. But Luton were strong. They were first to the ball a lot because they were eager. And if they're going to stay in the league, they're going to have to be harder working than everyone else. It was always going to be that. And you can't deny the atmosphere and the intensity that Kenilworth Road creates. Only like 12,000 people in that stadium. It's small. It's tough. It's gritty. It's a classic English football stadium that way. It's what makes this league and this sport so special, games like that. And it's hard to go there, man. It isn't a good pitch. It is difficult. It is cold. It is miserable. But, you'll take it. As Brillo pointed out, Liverpool drew there, and they also lost to Arsenal, but it was a last-minute goal, so they nearly drew against Arsenal as well. It's hard. It's very hard. It's really hard to do. And given our recent form with draws, and given the fact that we lost to Aston Villa, this could have very easily, and I need everyone to take this into the head and accept it, absorb it, this could have very easily been a loss today or a draw. We could have dropped points, and it would not have been surprising, giving them momentum. But you can tell that the players in Guardiola really sat down today to sort of set the world to rights and get things back on the right track. And it worked. It really did. So I'm happy about that. Guys, please do hit the like on the video if you're happy that Manchester City have just won. And I'll also consider subscribing to the channel. Go on, 14 more subscribers I need to get to 68,800. Get your backup accounts out. Log into your mum's account, your dog's account, your cat's account, your fish's account, your aunt's account. Get them all out and log into subscribe to the channel. It would be massively appreciated. They had one chance, Brillo has pointed out. One chance. So I know it's only Luton, but certain teams are hard to play against. There's a reason Luton are in the Premier League, by the way. It's because they're a good side, you know? I'm not saying they're a special side, but they're a good side, and they're very, very hard to beat. And that home form was a big part of them being where they are right now. And a word for Jack Grealish, by the way. Jack Grealish has had so much criticism recently, but I do think Jack Grealish was a big part of what worked today for Manchester City Football Club. Like, Jack is an elite technician. We know that. Look, he's not the explosive talent that Doku is. He's not an insane goal threat. But you can't deny that this City side keep the ball simply better when Jack Grealish is on the pitch, because Jack Grealish knows how to take the extra touch to slow things down a little bit. And of course I want him to see him do more going forward. Of course I want to see more goals and assists. But that's 2 so far, man, for Jack Grealish in the last week or two. Jack Grealish is scoring goals right now, 2 and 2 for him recently, and I'm happy about that. Jack was also talking after the game. I'll get the quotes up here. He said, I think a lot of people like to talk about so doing his accent, I think a lot of people like to talk about Man City. I can't do a Brummie accent. You know, I think a lot of people like to talk about Man City and go on like it's a big crisis. I'm so sorry to anyone from the Midlands or any Brummies. He said, in reality, we play very good teams. That's terrible. Am I being like... Can you be racist towards people from Birmingham? Sorry, Jack. In reality, we play very good teams. Said Spurs, you've been unbelievable. Liverpool were top. Chelsea and Villa away. You've got one of the best records in Europe. Absolutely, it's a very good point. So we knew we had to keep calm today and buzzing to get back to winning ways, and we did. And that was the thing as well. It was about calmness and composure today. I really feel like City were calm. They took the time. They found the passes. They worked the ball nicely. And even though we weren't totally fluid, there were encouraging signs from this City side. And to me, that's a relief to see. You've got to be better than the previous game. You've got to find a way to win it. And I'm happy about it. Bernardo's stats, of course, really impressive. One goal, 66 touches. 89% pass accuracy, 8 ground duels won. He was battling everywhere today. 4 tackles, 3 key passes, 1 interception, 1 shot on target, 1 successful dribble, 1 big chance created. That's your man, Bernardo Silva. And I'm happy about that. Look, we need to work forward now and take, hopefully, this game into positive territory. Things aren't perfect right now. I'm aware of that. But I am hoping, with players coming back, and look, Stones comes back into the team. If you look at this team for today with no Haaland, which I don't think we missed him today, by the way. Haaland would have been great. But, if you can get Stones back into this side as well, I would like to see, maybe Stones goes back to right back and then he comes into midfield or something like that. I don't know. Kyle's form is not the best right now, is it? Kyle is definitely struggling a little bit. He offers very little going forward. Defensively, he's not at his best. He needs to up a little bit. Don't know why, but I'm sure Pep will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure it'll turn around eventually. But that was a good performance on a difficult day. And there was no way. Okay, admittedly, it wasn't exciting, but you will take it, won't you, guys? Thank you for watching my match reaction. Hugely appreciated you. Shall I do a fan review live if you want to? I can do a fan review live if you want. I will take that today. I'll take it. Actually, Joe, I've not even talked about the rest of the teams. Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal, dropping points yesterday as well. I'll go back to the table as where we're at right now. Look, we're only 4 points behind. Let's look at Liverpool's games coming up. Liverpool have got. This is Liverpool's running games. They've got United. You never know. They've got Arsenal coming up. They've got Burnley away. They've got Newcastle. Bournemouth away. They got Chelsea, they got Arsenal. That is not an easy bunch of games, They've got a run of games there where they could drop points. And if you go to Arsenal as well, let's go to Arsenal. So you can see where Liverpool could drop games there. As for Arsenal, they've got Brighton next up. They've got Liverpool, they've got West Ham, they've got Fulham away. Then they got Palace, Forest away, Liverpool again, West Ham away, Burnley away. You can see where they start to drop points as well, potentially. And what about Villa? Let's look at their games coming up. They got Brentford away, which is not easy. They got Villa, Sheffield United at home. United away, piece of piss for them. Burnley at home. Everton away. They got Newcastle, Sheffield United. Look, you can see where particularly Liverpool and Arsenal could drop points. If we keep winning, just get close. When De Bruyne comes back, things will hopefully change. That's all you got to do at this stage of the season. Because we aren't our very best, but we hopefully could be. Guardiola also had a lot to say about, what's he called? Guardiola. He said, we've got the best managers in the world and world-class players that have dealt with a lot during their career. I think that's a time that we have to use our experience. We have a lot of experienced players in there. And he's right about that, I'm hoping the experience is one of the things that will make the biggest difference for us. Because this City side... Look, I talked a lot midweek about I want to see City just control the game. I want a back to basics vibe, just be Manchester City again. Recently, I've watched this game and City play, and it hasn't felt like Man City. We felt chaotic. It felt like we give the ball away too easy, and I didn't want to see that today. I wanted to see a City side keep the ball nicely, recycle possession and just pass and move. And that's what we've seen. And surely that's the experience speaking there. Players sort of trying to find their confidence a little bit. I'm hoping that's what we're seeing. Yosko's in the chat. Yosko, good game today, mate. I thought you had a good game. Hello to Yosko Vardio in the chat there. I'm sure it's the actual Yosko as always. But I'm happy about that. I'm happy about it. And I think Jack is right. It's all about just being calm. Apparently, City are interested in Eze and Olasey, says Nam. I think we are, generally speaking. Olasey is injured still, isn't he? Is he back yet? Oh, no. Obviously, Liverpool are going to batter United, agree. But, Yosko. Imagine that was actually Yosko, by the way. I don't know how. Sometimes he messages me during the game, so I'm skeptical, mate. I'll be honest with you. I'm skeptical, but we'll see. Can we play Grealish rather than Kovacic in midfield? Says Sweet. We could do. I thought Kovacic had a good game today, man. I think he had a good game, you know. But we could do. I'd love to see it eventually. I wouldn't be against it. The idea of Grealish, like, you know, playing central. I do wonder sometimes, by the way, if like players get on the bus back and just put on a fan's video. In fact, I know they do. Phil said it to me in person. He's like, Phil saw me at the Christmas party last season for City. He said, Steve Company, been watching this guy's videos for years, which always makes me nervous because when you hear that players actually watch your videos, they're only human. They watch the video like it's mad. What else are they gonna do on the way back? See what the fans think, aren't they, on Twitter and stuff like that? It makes you think. It makes me feel a bit responsible because some of them are young and I don't want to draw, you know, I don't want to knock the confidence or, not that I could do that, but I'm one of many people that could, you know, eventually. But anyway, they deserved the win today. The City deserved the win. To me, that's the most important thing. You got to make sure that you get the 3 points when it counts. We've been here a billion times where City have lost a few results at this time of the season, and then Pep finds a way to get going again. I don't see any reason to start thinking about that. And I know I was saying we had a problem the other day, and I think the problem to me is about the squad depth. It is. If you can find a way to win and get De Bruyne back and Grealish, and Doku and so on, then we should hopefully be okay. And I actually agree with Anome. Anome said in the chat, which I think is a really good point, he said Cover gave us an extra leg and an extra pass in midfield today. He's bang on for that, by the way. Kovacic, a few times today, did spin past the player, and he gives you that extra pass. He's always one extra pass. And I think City are at the best when they're passing the ball around. I think a lot of what City's threat comes from just keeping the ball. I know it sounds so basic, but I do think there's something in that. Just moving the ball and just moving the ball. And we do have a pretty easy run. I know I do a live calling show. I do the fan view live, mate. I'm going to do it after this as well. Samir is a big fan of Nunes in the chat. I think Nunes had a nice little cameo as well when he came on. Yeah, I think he did actually. He's a good player. He's a good player, Nunes. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to adapt, but give him time. Give him time. I think the issue with Nunes and Kovacic is I think we needed a world-class replacement right now for Gundogan. And we got some good players instead. Hopefully it will come. And Dante's got a good point as well. Like, Kovacic works really hard. He was good today, Kovacic. He was good. Excellent, maybe not, but good, yes. And right now, I think Kovacic is putting a good argument to say he's probably the best alongside Rodri in terms of the best option, the most natural. Option, I would say. Which I think that's quite reassuring. Look, KDB, he's going to take time. Brian is right. It will take time to come back. But it doesn't need to be perfect for a while. If KDB can come back and start putting the odd nice cross in, get the odd assist, KDB will absolutely want to make up for lost time. Like, I don't think he's probably enjoying this rest. I'm sure it's nice not to be exhausted all the time, but I think he's aware of his own mortality in terms of his career. You know, he hasn't got long left, and every minute is a chance to. Every minute not playing is a memory lost or whatever. And I think he wants to be out there earning more plaudits and improving his legacy and so on. And I think Kev wants that, man. I think he does. So, yeah, overall today, I think it's a good performance. I think the balance was much better, you know. I'm not saying it was a special performance, but it felt like watching Manchester City again today. And I think there's something to be said for that. Sometimes you got to go back to that. And I'm happy about it. Maybe we're back. But I did say we were over, you know. But Rodri, by the way, Rodri the excellent. Is there any coincidence that we win today with Rodri back in? Rodri did actually make that first goal with his energy and drive. I know the ball was dispossessed from him, but his energy and his work rate as always. Rodri is an absolute behemoth at the heart of this Manchester City side. I'd love to see his stats, actually. I've not looked at it. Rodri, of course, pass and move. Always imperious. 107 touches today, 90% pass accuracy, but that's Rodri, double anyone else on the pitch. Rodri's excellent, isn't he? You know, that's what he does, man. He goes forward. He works really hard. He's just excellent, isn't he? Absolutely wonderful. One key pass as well. 107 touches. Just an immense player. Absolutely immense player. We do need a bit more from Kovacic, I agree, but I think he helps the balance of the side a little bit. So to me, he's worth it right now. He seems like the most natural fit anyway. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'll get the fan view live going if you want to. I'll be live in about 10 minutes for the fan view live if you want to join me. For now, though, only 4 points off. It's good. It's good stuff. Up the Blues in a bit. Bye-bye.